Yeah,
I just
so today we're gonna go through the website stuff that we went through last week and just like expand upon it a little bit more. And I'm gonna talk about, I've actually heard a few people over the past few months, when I'm in calls about people who are interested in upgrade, and they always say, oh, well, I've heard websites like you don't need a website. And I'm not sure where people are getting that information, but I definitely don't agree with that. I mean, I understand you guys have your brokerage pages that you can send people to, but high level, you don't own that data, and you never know what's going to happen. I'm not saying like anyone's planning on leaving Compass, but like you really never know what's going to happen. And if you don't own any of that data, you're never going to be able to have any of that information again. Meaning, if you're paying for digital ads right now, let's say you are, or anything you do has your website on it, you are putting energy and like money into directing people to a page that you don't own, that someone else owns, that they're going to use that data. When you could be spending the same amount of time and money on directing it to a website you do own, where you own that data, meaning you can do whatever you want with it. You can retarget them, you can push ads on social media to them, you can get their email addresses, you can use that information to learn about your business, who's your audience, where are people coming from, etc. So today I'm going to go through high level what we spoke about last week, and then just some additional tips on very specific tips that you could do to increase awareness and build your SEO for organic reach on your website. Meaning, there's only one example in here that's paid. So everything I'm going to talk about for the most part today, doesn't cost a lot of money. And even the one that's paid doesn't cost a lot of money.
Well, I
Um,
think too, one of the things I just want to bring up is that's so important is when you have a website, it is your business card. You don't realize people are paying attention to you without you knowing that they are searching, they're researching you. That is so important. Like, I can't tell you how many people have walked into open houses. I've never met them before. And they're like, oh, I looked you up online before I came to your open house, wanted to see what you're all about. So many open houses, you don't even know you are being interviewed, right? So when we talk, and I know you guys all have your websites, but like, is it up? We talked about, is it up to date? And again, this is the next evolution of once you have a website, how do you have cookies on it? How do you have the ability, again, through digital media? I have a sister-in-law that works in the San Diego market. She's like, Butch, do we take out a magazine ad? It's really expensive. It's like $10,000 to get in this issue. I mean, I get harassed by Nob Hill Gazette, which is our local fish wrap for the Society magazine here in San Francisco. It starts at like $7,000 to $10,000 an edition. I mean, that's huge amounts of money. That could be an entire year's budget with digital marketing. And again, so much more targeted. Can't tell you how many times it happens to me all the time. Like, oh, I talked to a guy the other day. I mean, this is a buddy. And he's like, oh, yeah, I ended up buying a house in Russian Hill. And I'm like, oh, man, I missed that guy. Right. And why? Because COVID the last year, I stopped staying in touch with him because I didn't reach out and stay top of mind. Had I had my digital marketing campaign just feeding into he has my cookie. I could have just dripped on him all the time for nano pennies. So that's really, we want to save you listings. We want to keep you top of mind. It all is predicated off your website. So that's why we're really
yeah.
hammering this issue for you guys.
And
We
speaking
don't
to
care who
that,
you use. Yeah.
yeah, I think speaking to that point that Butch said, and I'm not saying this is what Butch did, the reason we stopped digital ads was for a different reason. But what a lot of people are doing right now is stopping marketing because the market is slow. Or when COVID hit, they stopped marketing. And I mean, I think we can all agree that that's definitely not the right call. Especially if you can just spend a few $100 a month on digital advertising, at least running ads to people you already know. Upload an email list, upload your CRM list to Facebook and run ads to them. So at least they're seeing you. People who already know you, at least they're seeing you on a regular basis, so that when it is time for them to buy or sell, you're top of mind. It's very cheap and it's like basically the bare minimum. But let's go into these website ideas. Before I do that, Bob wrote in the chat, lead companies minimize the need for website versus landing pages. Yes, they definitely do. I think it's just to get you like as a client, because getting one landing page is easier, faster, cheaper than having a whole website. I'm not going to say that's wrong, but there's a need for many landing pages, which what is many landing pages? A website, right? So that's really what that is. So let's go into this. So last week, for those of you who weren't on, we discussed like website must-haves, the basics of what your website should have. And I just wanted to go over that again, just as a reminder, if you guys want to screenshot this or whatever, but your website should answer the following questions: what you do. And when I say what you do, it means what you do differently, not real estate agent in LA. Cool. So are 5,000 other people. What you do differently, how your service will make their life better or solve their problems. Who is your audience? What is their problem? Every single person on this call has a different audience with a different problem. Even if every single person of you was an agent in the same market, they would still have different problems, and they would still be different people and different audiences. So understand that about yourself. Who is your audience and what is their problem? And everything you should do should be answering that question in like a small way. And then what do they need to do to get it? Call to action. Call to actions everywhere on your website. Make sure your headlines are strategic and your photos are purposeful. I don't think we need to see a bunch of like generic stock images, right? Like, make sure the photos are purposeful and they're showcasing something that makes you different. I know you guys know this, but when you look at agents' websites that are all in the same market and they're using the same website company, like all their websites look the same because they're all using the same like 5 photos of the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever, right? So choose your photos wisely and choose your headlines in a strategic way that answers the question and showcases why you're different. Consistent branding. Oh my gosh, I see this all the time, you guys. Make sure that you're using the same colors, fonts, and the style of messaging. If you're saying me and I on your website, then you should say me and I on your social media. Like the tone needs to be the same. The way things are written needs to be the same. It needs to all feel the same and consistent across the board. If you don't have your own personal branding, use compasses. Use compasses, fonts, and colors. But make sure it's the same across the board. Because if I go to your website and there are pops of blue everywhere, and then I'm looking at your print ad and I'm looking at your Instagram and there's no pops of blue, my brain is not going to assume that that's the same company. Call to action.
By the way, real quick, do you know what pronouns chocolate uses? Anyone? Her and she.
M&M's or Hershey's or what? What
Get
company?
It? Hershey.
Oh, I get it. Dad joke. That went right over my head. Okay, so then a contact submission form. I like to have a contact submission form in the footer, so it's on every single page, which a contact submission form is basically like name, email, message, or whatever you want to do. But I would get granular here on specific pages, and that goes back to the landing pages for the leads, and we'll discuss this. But you can have a little bit more specific messaging in a call to action paired with a contact submission form. Testimonials obviously should be on your page, and then you should feature your social media to push people onto your social. So those are the basics. So I'm going to go into 3 or 4 different ideas here that are taking it a step further on how to reach more people. And I know when I say blog, that feels almost like old school, and it feels like a lot of work, which I get. But when I say blog, I just mean a place with information, right? A place on your website that has information. So here are the different ideas. Could you write a blog? Yeah. Could you hire a copywriter? Yes. To talk about the market and whatever. You could totally do that, and that would be great, right? It would add to your SEO, keywords, everything, showcase that you're, a thought leader. But you can also repurpose content. We are getting Leonard's Did You Knows every single morning. Every single person on this call gets that. Why couldn't you repurpose that and put that on your website, right? Why couldn't you repurpose news articles? Like if you're subscribed to a local publication, and then you choose one a week that is interesting, that would be interesting to your audience, and repurpose it. And you can even link back to the publication and just add on one or two sentences of what your thoughts are on it. That would take 5 minutes, right? And then when people are looking that up, hopefully your website starts to come up, and then they see your spin on it. They see your take on it and view you more as a thought leader. First time home buyer or seller information, right? Couldn't you have an FAQ on first time home buying, first time selling? You could have a favorite local places section. You don't necessarily need to update this every week. Like, you could update this once a month or once a quarter. But this would be great. And I'm going to go into an even deeper example of this because I think this is an easy, free, fast idea. If you have a section or a page or whatever on your site with like your recommendations for restaurants and coffee shops and all of that stuff, hopefully, eventually, when people are typing in those coffee shops, your website comes up. And the only reason they would be typing in those specific coffee shops is because they live there, right? For the most part, or they're considering living there, or they go there a lot. So don't you want to reach those people anyways? Top growing neighborhoods and why, you could do a section on that. FAQ page, frequently asked questions. Maybe you add in a frequently asked question you get on a regular basis. Right now it would be, something about the market slowing down or interest rates or whatever. Butch?
I think one of the things that I see right now, if you live in the Bay Area or New York, like First Republic Bank is coming out and they're trying to buy the market. Their interest rates on the 7 and 10-year interest-only loans are in the kind of 3.5 to 3.75. One of the easiest things you could do right now is either get on video, get on LinkedIn, do a video with your phone, super raw. The more raw, I actually think, the better. That it's just you talking like, hey, there's a lot of talk about interest rates doubling. I want to let you know what's going on at First Republic Bank. We have these dips in our cycles. I can still get you 3.5% for 10 years using First Republic Bank. Call me for details, but don't buy high, sell high. You want to buy low, sell high. And right now is a great time to be in the market. I want to let you know what's going on because the news isn't telling you all the news. They want to lead with bad news or shock value. That's what we have over the last 5 or 7 years. We could probably say last 50 years. But like, that's not true. Let me share some of the details of what's going on.
And take that a step further, right? Where you put the headline, and instead of like writing a paragraph, if you want to get a gold star, you would write the headline and then you would film yourself explaining it and upload it there.
Yeah. So these are all little things. I love the Tunnel Top. It's a new park in San Francisco. So we're doing for September. Everyone's coming back to school, planning a little party, inviting all our clients, with families, like come hang out at tabletops. We got or Tunnel Tops. We have a photographer that's going to be there shooting pictures of kids, just to get back to school. So there's all these things you can do, just little things, and you can send the bulk mail, and then you can put it back and cut and paste, put it back on your website. Really easy. Just have a blog page, and these are all super little easy examples that you can do all the time. Into cooking, your favorite your recipes. I can't tell you how tortured my wife is every single day. Like, oh dear God, what are we going to have for dinner? Every day. And so you can create a little blog post. You'd be saving people's marriages.
Exactly. So a blog page or a page with information, whatever you want to call it, allows you to showcase your knowledge, showcase your expertise. It shows you as a resource instead of just trying to sell yourself, right? Because I think a lot of agents, the way they do marketing is just listed, just sold. I'm number one this, I'm top this, I was on this list, whatever. And that's cool, but that's like agent to agent marketing, really, right? Like the consumer doesn't necessarily care what list you were on. They want to know if you know the market, and they want to know if you know the neighborhood and what your experience is and testimonials and stuff. That all could get answered on a blog page in some sort of capacity. And it showcases, again, you're an expert. You are a resource in this neighborhood. You're not just here to sell yourself. You're here to help them. Provide more information on why they should hire you, and then obviously build your SEO. Okay, so here's another idea. Take your testimonials even further and pair them with a case studies page. We talked about this briefly last week. I think this would be awesome for those of you who do a lot of home prep and renovations and stuff. If you don't do that, don't do this. This is only for those people that it's on brand for. You don't need to do all of these ideas. If your branding, if what makes you the best or different is you're super in the know in the area, you should be doing a blog post about what's going on in the area, right? But what Butch's benefit is he does a lot of home prep and he has a huge vendor list and he's been doing it for 15 years, whatever. So we have a case studies page. We don't have a blog on his website that's like, here's the best restaurant, whatever, because he's not that in tune with it as much as he's in tune with this. So we lean into what he's known for, which is this. So showcase what you do, how what you do affects your clients. This is like so clear, right? Especially for those markets like San Francisco or New York or whatever, where a lot of people have lived in their houses for like 10 years or whatever, and they're so outdated. So a lot of people, when they go to put their market or their house on the market, they have to renovate. Like they just have to. There's no like if, ands, or buts. So showcase how what you do affects your clients and why they should choose you over a competitor. A lot of people, almost every agent says like, I'm the best at property prep, right? Every time I ask an agent what makes them different, they all say property prep. So how does that make you different if that you guys are all doing it? This is a great way to showcase how it makes you different, because here on his website, it says what it originally would have sold for, what it ended up selling for, the client's ROI, and all the things that Butch's team did to make that happen. This is a super easy way to showcase what you do, answer questions, and it's just highlighting what you do in the property prep phase and how it makes a difference. Next idea, and we spoke about this already, but showcase your local knowledge. I think if this is what you do and like what makes you special, you really, really, really should add a bunch of information on your website about this, not only to like showcase what you know and show that you're a local expert, but all these backlinks linking to other website is so good for SEO. All this text about things that people are already Googling in your specific neighborhood, that's how you reach people, right? In your specific neighborhood. So for here, you could add in an exclusive vendor list. There's an agent in SF that is like known for this vendor list on her website, right? It's like super detailed. Agents go to it and use it. Other agents go to it and use it.
I used to do it all the time.
Right.
I would go to her website. And,
one problem that she didn't do though, one thing she didn't do was take it a step further, which is put your email address in order to use this. I would recommend doing that. Super easy. Name an email. Okay. Then now that you can put her or him on your email list, but even more importantly, you can retarget them with ads. And I will answer that question, Kelly, that you put in the chat on what to do there. But so that would be so great. A vendor list, you have to put your email in, or a neighborhood guide. And I spoke about this Own Marin team that does this. So if you see here, it's like Explore Marin. And then it's like, okay, whatever stuff about Marin. Here are all the neighborhoods. A lot of you guys have neighborhood sections on your website, and then you click to it and it's like one picture and like a few sentences. But if you go here, a blurb about it, where it is on the map, and then their local favorites with photos that all click to the small business. What a great way to make a connection with local businesses. Hey, I'm going to feature you on my website as one of my favorite coffee spots. Is that cool? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe we should do a partnership, whatever. Like take it to a step further and see what could happen. One of my clients a few years ago did this, Michelle Butch, and she partnered with a local coffee shop in her area, and we put it on her website, and she was like, "Oh, this is the best coffee spot." And then I was like, "We should take this to next step further." And we did this thing Friday at Bernie's. The coffee shop was called Bernie's. And every Friday she would go and she would just work from there and buy like everyone coffee from 8 to 9 or whatever. And she got so many people coming in, talking to her. "Oh, you're a Michelle Pender. Oh, I see your signs everywhere." Whatever. So it's a great way to introduce small businesses into your website and provide value for them too.
So one of the keys, like, let's talk about Michelle for a minute, because I thought this was a really good work in progress that we kind of developed with her. And she wore glasses, and she'd change her glasses all the time. And she had these like very exotic, fun glasses. And so with her, we created a brand around the glasses. And so it became Pender Vision. And so everything was about seeing through, when she talked about the market, Pender Vision looks at the future of the real estate market, or those, see how you can take these little nuances and expand upon them. So there's all these different things that you could do, Bob or Rob or Mark, like I see out there, and, whatever little kind of thing that, that hooks you. I remember, again, talking about my family friend down in San Diego. She had a nickname, Bunny. She was Alexandra. She went into the real estate market as Alexandra Booth. And I was like, that is terrible. No one is going to remember that name. But if you went by Bunny Booth and you had a little bunny rabbit, or just little ears on all your, signs and everything like that, or like at your open houses, you had like bunny things. It's so memorable. All those little things that you can do. So for your brand.
We can have a session on branding.
Because I know they did that with Kevin. That's all I bring this up. Is like, these are all little things. Like what I would do is just say, you could do a little video ad. Again, raw the better. You could just say like, "Hey, everyone's getting back out there these days. I wanted to take you through my favorite 6 neighborhoods of San Francisco." And you could say, "Every week I'm going to produce a little thing. Hit me up if you want my private email, and I will do this for you guys."
And you can take that a next step further and post about it on your social media and be like, "Every Friday I'm going to showcase the neighborhood and what makes it great, whatever." And then you could post about it on your social media, and then you can say, "Click here for more information." And then it goes to your website. And what does that do? It gets people in your website, and now we're tracking them, right? So here's another example on this Own Marin page. So they already did the work. They already put together that blog style page of all the neighborhood hotspots for every neighborhood. Their website is custom, but it connects with when a property is added to the Kentfield neighborhood as a listing, all the Kentfield hotspots pull up at the bottom. Genius. Right? Every Kentfield property, they don't have to redo it every time. Their website knows to do that. Okay. This is a huge one. And it's a little confusing, so I'm going to try to explain it in a clear way, but a great way to use your website is to stay top of mind by combining your print and your digital strategies, right? So if you create specific landing pages on your website that coincides with a QR code on various print materials that you're sending out, mailers, property brochures, print ads, whatever you do, bus benches, whatever, you'll be able to reach all those people again and again and retarget them. So also you could provide downloadables like buyer's guides, seller's guides, whatever. If people put their contact information in on your website, that's easy. But as far as the QR codes go, basically what the process would look like is you would send a mailer out. "Here's why you should hire the Butch Haze team. Well, curious to know more about our off markets? We know all the off markets." Let's just say that was your thing. You do a QR code, scan here for access to all of our off markets that no one else has, whatever you want to say. Then it scans to a landing page on Butch's site, butchhaze.com/off markets. No one else can see that. No one can just know that that website exists unless you scan the code and you go to it. It's a separate landing page that's not public. Now we know how many people scanned and if the mailers were successful. Cool, which everyone always asks. And B, we're providing valuable information to these people. So they're viewing Butch as a resource and knowledgeable and helpful. And C, we will forever be able to retarget these people. And when I say retarget, that means your website will have something called a Facebook pixel. Whoever runs your marketing, tell them to do this. There's a Facebook HTML code that you can pull from your Facebook that you upload onto the back end of your website. That's how the two connect. So when people go to your website, you can retarget them on Facebook. And one of the questions was, can you do this on Instagram too? Yes, Facebook owns Instagram. So all ads that you run on Facebook, you can choose to run on Facebook and Instagram or just Facebook or both.
And you already see all these ads all the time. And remember, it's so inexpensive. Again, take a big magazine out, do a full page, have your sexy property, and it goes out for that 1 month. Person gets it in the mail, has it on their coffee table maybe for a month, tosses it, and you never know if they opened it. You never know if they read it. And this is what you can share. And the most important part is sharing this with someone. This is why I do it this way. This is why I joined Compass. This is why I use Chirag as my coach. Right, like an upgrade or whatever, like all these things, like you can leverage in your pitch meetings. Like I have such specific targeted marketing for you. These are the examples of
it. Well, and you have data. Now you have data to show them.
And the data, people love looking at this, and you can show them insights. You can show them all these different aspects of it, and really, you'll know when you're with the data person. And if they're not data people, you just say like, this is the future of real estate. Like people don't do what they used to do, which is open the Sunday paper, go down the list. You remember we used to do that? Like, oh, I got to get the Sunday Chronicle, whatever newspaper. You used to look at all the open houses. Those days are gone.
Let's go into another example. So what everyone is doing in major cities nowadays is they're pulling away from property brochures or flyers. Like a lot of people in New York, San Francisco, LA, they don't do them anymore, right? Unless it's like some big fancy $20 million house and the seller's being, needy. But most people don't do property brochures in major cities anymore. And I think COVID they weren't allowed to have paper at open houses and then they just stuck to it. But what people are doing now is having QR codes around the house, right? Want to learn more? Whatever, scan this. What should the QR code go to? It should go to your website, not some random website that you don't own. Should go to your website, butchhaze.com/1234 Baker Street. Now, not only can we see all the data, I could go on to Google Analytics and look at all the data of how many people went to /1234 Baker Street. I could go onto the QR code website and see how many scans there were. And we can retarget those specific people. Or take it another step further, if you really want to get into it, is you have them scan /1234 Baker Street, a pop-up comes up. Want to learn more? Put your email in. I'll send you information on this home and similar ones. They put their email in. Now they're on your email list, and now you've gotten their emails and you can retarget them on social, and you can send them a collection of all the homes in the area that are the same. So that's a great, remember back in the day when people, like, there would be like a sign-in sheet at the open houses and you're like, please put your name on and put your email on the notepad. People don't do that anymore. So you have to like talk to get their contact information. And a lot of people just like walk through and leave, and then you don't ever get their contact information. But if they're interested about the house, they're going to scan that code, and forever we will be retargeting them. They're going to see your name on Instagram for the rest of their life. And if they really are interested, they'll put their email in, and then now they'll get an email from you.
And again, if you're retargeted, they're like, God, I see this person everywhere. Imagine like again, Coca-Cola doesn't advertise so that you will drop everything and go run out and drink a Coke. What they do is they just target all the time so that when you're thirsty and you look in a fridge and you have water, Sprite, Coke, you reach for the Coke.
Right. A lot of agents, I think don't understand how branding works. Like you guys are in the business of long-term marketing and advertising. Like no matter what, Zillow basically is the only company that really can like promise leads. And even then, they're not legit leads. Like you're getting a million calls for people who aren't ready or who are talking to other agents and they're not loyal to you. So wouldn't you rather invest your money in yourself? Run ads. Does it take a longer time? Yes, but they believe in you and they're choosing you. They're not like forced on you. They're choosing you because of what you've put out, what they see that you're doing, that they resonate with, that they like. Then they're going to be loyal to you and refer you to other people. It takes a long time. And like Butch said, I don't want to hear anyone saying, "Oh, nothing happens. I do all these ads and I don't get any leads." It's just not true. Like when people call you, if people call you and you say, "Oh, how'd you hear about me?" They're just going to say, I just see your name everywhere." Like they don't even know. You know what I mean? Like they don't remember because they don't remember that when they're on Facebook and they're scrolling really fast, they saw your name. It doesn't click, but it's going into their brain, but they're not really remembering exactly like, "Oh, I saw your name on Facebook. I saw your ads on Facebook every single day." So it's a little like, you know what I mean? It's like driving past a billboard every day on the freeway. You're just driving past a billboard. Let's say the billboard has like, some fancy new Mission Impossible movie or whatever. You're driving past the billboard every single day. And then in a few weeks, you go to see the movie. If someone is like, "Oh, why'd you come to see this movie?" You'd be like, "I don't know. I just heard about it. I've seen it everywhere. Everyone's talking about it." It's the same thing.
Yeah. So I really appreciate you guys, your time today. I know it's a lot. One of the things I would suggest is, your AEM, is helpful if we're, talking about like, how do I do this? And I know Kelly, with your CRM, your AEM, they've created this system so that you can work with the marketing center to do ads. We're suggesting just ideas to say like, "Hey, can I do this?"
I will say though, the ads on Marketing Center do not allow you to retarget people from your website. So if you want to take it a next step further, you will need someone to help you with that, or you learn how to do that. I'm going to answer some of these questions on the chat before everyone starts hopping off. When I talk about retargeting, is that just strictly social? Yes. You can easily upload lists. You could upload an Excel spreadsheet to Facebook and run ads to those people. Or you could retarget people that came to specific landing pages on your website or just your website as a whole. And then how do you target specific contacts in your CRM? Like I just said, you would upload the email lists. It would need their name and email. And you said to download those names into Facebook. Yes, maybe we do a digital ad session on how to do that on Facebook, because right now, obviously, you can target people on the Compass platform in specific zip codes. You can do that on your own on Facebook too, but you can upload lists to Facebook, and it can go to Facebook and Instagram. Cool. Well, yeah, if anyone has any questions, as a reminder, the first Wednesday of every month, I do an open office hours. So it's very similar to this. 30, 45 minutes of me chatting about different topics, and people can ask questions about marketing. And we are a marketing company. We run marketing, advertising, and social media for agents. So definitely let me know if you guys have any questions. I put my email and my website in the chat.
And also you have a new Facebook forum too, right?
Yes, we have a Facebook group. I just started a Facebook group for agents to pop in and ask questions, and I'll answer them. So if you have any questions about marketing or social or branding, you can do that, and I'll add you guys. I'll get the emails from Chirag and his team, and I'll add you guys to the group.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate
Bye,
you.
have a good week.
And we'll see you next week for more homework.